Good morning. What does the Herald and Ian McWhirter have to say about independence today? I always look to Ian McWhirter with some misgiving these days. In my perspective, he's wandered around a lot from the Ian McWhirter of yore that we knew, but then that's his perspective and he's an opinion journalist. Anyway, he has an article which is commendably headed Independence, so we know where we're at. And the question he asks is undoubtedly a fundamental one. Has the energy crisis finally convinced Scots to go it alone? Well, many things have convinced Scots to go it alone a long time ago, and none of them have changed. But the energy crisis will certainly focus the minds of a great many Scots if the kind of astronomical rises that are authoritatively forecast materialise. They're quite terrifying. So let's just pick up one or two things that Ian is saying. Scotland is a cold country, you can say that again, and energy costs are of acute interest to Scottish voters, not least because Scotland is an energy-rich nation sitting on an ocean of hydrocarbons and renewables. An energy-rich nation sitting on an ocean of hydrocarbons and renewables. That's the Scotland that's too wee, too poor to run its own affairs. A Scotland packed with talent, scientific energy, enthusiasm, innovation, a leader in renewables, and with an enviable wealth of natural resources which most of the world would give their right arms to possess. And as Ian goes on to say, yet in spite of this, effectively he said, bills of 4,000 to 5,000, pick a number and double it, are about to plunge more than half the working population into fuel poverty. If that's not an argument for going it alone, even in uncertainties, what's not? And of course, Ian has to come back to what is central to any discussion of where are we going in independence, the enigma of Nicola Sturgeon. At one and the same time, responsible for electoral success beyond anybody's wildest dreams in the dark day when we lost the 2014 referendum, in spite of Alex Salmond, in spite of Alba, in spite of defecting MPs, Nicola undoubtedly has been a master politician in terms of electability. And at the end of the day, with all the brandishing of radical solutions, without a political arm, without a strong government, albeit devolved and limited in Holyrood, we'll never see independence. So we've got to face up to that. And it has to be said that Nicola Sturgeon doesn't sound like a revolutionary leader on the brink of achieving national liberation. Last week again, she was again caught ruminating over her own destiny. And of course, this is Ian squeezing the milk out of the Nicola fringe meetings. I wish to hell Nicola would stay away from fringe meetings. I wish she would stop seeking easy publicity platforms which enhance her image on a PR type scale and get to grips with making statements in the right forums and the right quarters to the independence movement that put her where she is, voted for her, maintained their confidence in her against all sorts of challenge, and are desperate for her to do things right. Now, he goes on from that to say something which is interesting. He's talking about John Swinney, who he refers to as Uriah Swinney. I like John Swinney and I have admired him at times, but he's not exactly, he certainly doesn't fit the bill of a revolutionary leader on the brink of independence, nor does he inspire great let's go to the barricades and fight for independence emotions on me, or as far as I can determine in anybody else. So this is not the way to inspire a nation to stand on its own 2 feet. Where is the vision? Where is the self-confidence? Where is the campaign? And I asked these three questions myself. Ian closes with a very short paragraph, but it really kind of sums it up, certainly for me. Independence is a revolutionary project and it needs revolutionary leadership. So Nicola, we're all out here, we're all waiting, we're all determined to support you despite all the waves and things that are battering you. In a very real sense, you're okay, and you know that. With substantial income, substantial international profile, there's no doubt whatsoever that when you leave the office of First Minister, as all politicians must ultimately leave office, you will have an attractive and lucrative future open to you. And it hasn't been too unlucrative in the period you've been there. But there's a hell of a lot of people out here, unpaid, doing their best for independence on their own time. And there's a hell of a lot of people facing real economic, social and personal challenges which they hope independence will go to some way to relieving. You must get more of a public stance to the yes movement. Talk to the people, Nicola. Talk to the people directly. Never mind finding chat show hosts like Ian Dale or Aisha Hazarika or somebody like that to give you a nice cosy little Edinburgh establishment type platform at the fringe. Talk to us. Talk directly to us in terms that are unequivocal and commit and show some signs of life. I admire you as a politician, Nicola. I admire what you've achieved, and I think after the defeat of 2014, there would have been no independence movement if you hadn't been there. I have to say you've disappointed me, and I'm sure I haven't disappointed you because I'm beneath your radar completely. I'm just one of the mass of people that spends an inordinate amount of their time, personal sacrifice of other priorities, to try and support the SNP as best I can and support the independence movement. Get out there, do something, show some evidence that you understand the big questions that are hanging and that you are notably and egregiously not answering. If you can't answer them, tell us now. And I say that with genuine wish for your success, personal and otherwise. One more thing, which I have to say, I won't say any more specifically than this. There is a problem in the heart of your organisation that you have total control of. It's holding back the independence movement, has held it back, it's been responsible for numerous scandals and at least opportunities for the opposition to make hay. Deal with it. Only you can, Nicola. And I look forward to offering such support as I can for what it's worth, which may not be much.